There's one more question. What are the best sources that we can use to build mathematical knowledge of ML models, deep learning concepts, etc.?
So for math behind these models, you would have to, so before understanding the math, I would say first go ahead with understanding the basics of what these models work on. How do they perform on different data? And then you relate that with the math that leads to those decisions and outputs. So I value a book called ISLR. You can search ISLR on Google, and you can buy, like, you'll have PDFs for sixth or seventh edition. It talks in a very layman term. Ignore the implementation lab part of using our technology to do that, but go through all those models. Once you do that, there are a lot of other online courses on Udemy, Coursera, those kind of websites that offer courses for very cheap, like 400, 500 bucks, rupees in India. So I would say start with that. And two or three people from S.P.I.T reached out to me. Some of them I can see in the participant list. They reached out to me saying, should I do this course, which is 1 or 2 lakh rupees? Some companies offering, and they're also giving certificates and those kind of things. Is it helpful? The answer is not necessarily, and they may not be worth 1 or 2 lakhs. So when you're investing such a big amount, be very thoughtful of it. If I'm going for something that big, I would first go ahead with spending 400, 500 rupees, understand the basics, see if I'm interested in it, and then pay for 1 lakh, 2 lakh to get any kind of certifications.
Yeah, moving to the next question. Which part of engineering do you think benefits an engineer wanting to build a career in finance the most?
I would say anything that revolves around object oriented programming, because you don't get finance domain knowledge anywhere in any of the engineering branches. The good thing that can set you apart from other people is having a good object oriented language experience. It could be building Android programs, it could be learning Java, C sharp, C++, it could be learning Python, it could be like learning any particular technology which banks are currently using. So banks are little laid back in the sense they use older technologies than newer companies like Netflix, Google, Facebook, Amazon. So they definitely still use C++, but majority applications work on Java and C sharp. So I think the best piece that will set you apart from having the basic financial knowledge, will be the technology.
Moving to the last few questions. Like many other aspiring engineers, did you also get into technical learning apart from the regular courses like coding or participating in hackathons, etc.? How different did you prepare yourself?
Can you say the first part again?
Like many other aspiring engineers, did you also get into technical learning apart from regular courses like coding or participating in hackathons?
So yes, I took part in some hackathons, especially the ones that happens through IEEE, which are overnight 24 hours coding competitions. I did, like, I wasn't a big time coder back when I was in second year, third year, so I did not do a lot of it. But I was always involved with learning new technologies, new things by doing extra courses during the weekends. So now these courses can be from any committee. Courses can be online, Udemy, Coursera. For example, with my current job right now, I've done 7 courses in last 3 months, and that's apart from spending 50, 60 hours in coding. Question that you should always be adaptive to new technologies. You should keep learning so that when an opportunity strikes, for example, if you're joined, let's say, a particular company and you're working in some domain, and eventually you realize because of budget cuts this team might face some layoffs, and there are, or maybe there are other opportunities in different divisions. You understand these pointers straight ahead of time, and you interview for those. So there are called, these are called internal mobilities, wherein you move from one division or one role to another within the same company. So, in order for you to do that or shift companies and gain more knowledge, you should always be learning new technologies. So, I think, yeah, that's an important piece to it.
Ishan has a question for you. I was interested to get to know your view on the Masters in Computational Finance offered by CMU and your general view on the field of financial engineering and quants versus pure data science as a career path.
So, quant is something that I can always dream of. That's like one of the most, you know, fantasizing job that I can get. And I would say it's the most involved with data science, not just data science. Quant is basically like those quants that are used in this banks is mainly math. So you have to be really, really good at math. You have to be really, really good at technology to implement that math. And these are like very niche and very small portion of the banks, but these are the ones that make the most money. So it's definitely a dream job for anyone, and it's very challenging. I have a friend who worked with me at Credit Suisse. His background is this, in NIT. He did an engineering and computer science. He was with me in Credit Suisse for 2 years and joined the computational finance course at CMU. So I can get you in touch with him to talk more about the computational finance degree, because I'm not an expert there. But definitely that's something very niche, and that's something very specific. So if you apply for that, you'll be limiting to a very smaller pool of companies that you'll be applying towards. But again, if you get through and if you get the knowledge right, if you get the job right, I think you will be one of the most highly paid.
Yeah, so I think we have got most of the questions that were in the chat box, and I don't see any other questions. Apart from this, if you all have any other questions, we'll be sharing Jaskeet's LinkedIn on our social media handles, so you can feel free to connect with him and ask him any questions you all want. I think we should wrap up the session now.